and this is the entrance to the slot canyon that I mentioned a moment ago. It starts out reasonably wide, maybe 10 feet or so, and it twists and winds through. There's some spots where it gets really treacherous. Some kind hiker prior to us put a pallet in here to be able to climb, but I'll show you this as best I can, just to give you some perspective of how deep this is. The highest point you're looking at there is probably about 50 feet or so, maybe 75. Spot on the left is probably about 30 or 35 foot. And the way these slot canyons are formed is water rushes out of some watershed, comes down into the crevices between two of these sand deposit mountains, and it erodes the sand away, and that's why you get all these features inside the canyon. So I'm going to hand my phone off to Tammy so I can climb up the pallet here. Alright, I'm back with you. And again, I'm going to swoop up so you can see just what we're seeing up top. Up there at the top, the sun is shining off the red rock, so it's shining a little more brightly and a little more vividly. But where all these indentations are, all these undulations through here, is where the water crashed off of one wall, moved another, and crashed off that wall, and zigzagged its way down this canyon. And all the white rock that you see down here on the bottom, I'll show you here in a moment, did not originate in this canyon. It originated from a mountaintop that's adjacent to this canyon, and these white rocks fell down into this ravine. Can't imagine what it would be like to be down here when the water is rushing during some sort of a flash flood. I'm going to try to navigate over a couple of really large boulders here. And as you can see, it's starting to get considerably more narrow. And that means that the water is still eroding the surface between these two mountains. And that means that this part of it seems to be pretty young in comparison to the spot we were just walking through, where it's wider and more eroded. It's also a little bit darker back here in some respects. Alright, as you can see, this spot's a little bit tricky, so pardon the video if it gets a little jerky for a second, and pardon me if I drop the phone. Alright, made it. This spot opens up considerably. This is probably one of the spots where the water comes in, where it originates. You get to a spot where it's a little more wide open. And I mentioned that they had some of these white colored, also sandstone boulders that didn't originate in this obviously red canyon. But if you take a look up here, up above this region is some white sandstone structures, and all of those look like they at any moment could break loose, tumble down into this little canyon and crush the Jeffrey. So I'm not going to stay here too terribly long, but I just want to finish this up. We didn't go too much further past this, because looking past this big boulder that looks like it's probably about 8 or 10 foot diameter, it gets so narrow that it's not really passable for us to do safely, at least with our skill level. So this is where we're going to end it. So anyway, this is Red Hollow Slot Canyon, and thanks for joining us.